Okay, in this video we're going to be solving one-step equations, which is skill set 8 in this unit. And before we get started with the examples, I want to remind you of a couple of general rules we want to follow when solving any equation. We want to remember that the ultimate goal is to isolate the variable or to get the variable by itself. So that just means when you finish, you want to have x is equal to something. That's the whole point of solving equations. You want to figure out what the variable is equal to. Okay, and then the other part we always want to remember is that whatever you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other side. So for example, if we have an equation like this, we want to remember that the equal sign is like our balancing point, and whatever we do to this side of the equal sign, we also have to do to this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve the examples on your reference guide. And I just want you to remember that when you're watching these videos, it's a good strategy to first watch me solve the equations and then go ahead and pause it and write them down on your guide sheet. It's kind of hard to write and listen at the same time, so that would be my strategy for you. All right, so when I'm solving an equation, I always want to extend the equal sign. That just helps me remember that the equal sign is the balancing point. Now I can remember that this is one side of the equation and this is the other side. And in a one-step equation, you have the variable and then you have a constant. And there's a little reminder here that to undo addition, you want to use subtraction. So since it's x plus 8, we undo plus 8 by subtracting 8. If we do it to this side, we have to do it to this side. Okay, so now I can see that the positive 8 or the plus 8 and the minus 8 will cancel out, and I am left with x equals, and then on this side, 3 minus 8 would give me negative 5. So my final answer, x is equal to negative 5. Okay, let's look at this one. This time we have subtraction. So to undo subtraction, we're going to use addition, right? I'm going to extend the equal sign again, and then since it's minus 5, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. The negative 5 or the minus 5 will cancel out with the plus 5, and then 2 plus 5 is 7, and on this side all we have left is x, and that's what we want. We want to know what x is equal to, and in this case it's equal to 7. Okay, I can go back and check my answer and say if x is 7, then I have 7 minus 5 is equal to 2. So that works in this equation. Let's look at a couple more one-step equations. All right, so in this one, we have negative 4x is equal to 20. Remember, when you have the number right next to the x, it's the same as negative 4 times x. I'll extend the equal sign. Now to undo this multiplication, I'm going to use division. So divide by negative 4, okay, this number right here, the coefficient of x is what that's called. And then if I divide by negative 4 on one side, I have to divide by negative 4 on the other side. This negative 4 and this negative 4 will cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 20 divided by negative 4 would give me negative 5. So my answer, x is equal to negative 5. Again, I can check that. Negative 4 times negative 5 would give me a positive 20. All right, on our last one, we have x divided by 7 is equal to negative 4. Remember, in algebra, instead of using the traditional division symbol, we use the fraction bar. Fraction means divide. So to undo division, we're going to use multiplication, the opposite. So since it's being divided by 7, I'm going to multiply by 7. And if I do it to the left side, I need to do that to the right side. And then this 7 and the divide by 7 cancel out, and I'm left with x. And then negative 4 times 7 is equal to negative 28. So my answer would be x is equal to negative 28. Again, I can check that. Negative 28 divided by 7 would give me negative 4. All right, so go ahead and finish any notes that you need to take on this video, and then you can go ahead and do the practice set for one-step equations.